Welcome back everyone to my low-level playthrough of Chrono Trigger on the Wii Virtual Console. Last episode we defeated Yakra, who was disguised as the Chancellor, and we rescued Queen Leene, and that allowed us to rewrite history. And so because of that, Marle is back. She's in our party here, and we stopped here at the cathedral. This is where the Queen was kidnapped. But now that we defeated Yakra, all the monsters are gone, so we can go into these rooms here on the right and pick up a few accessories. The most important is going to be that speed belt. It gives +2 to speed. The bandana only gives +1. We got a defender that gives like +2 to your vigor, which is like your defense. So we got a few treasures. We're gonna go over here to this room on the left. It's not in a treasure chest, but there's this white gem. You want to grab it. It's the secret Nageti bromide. And we'll trade that to a villager later on. Couldn't get that earlier because it creates a forced encounter that you can't run from, so keeping that experience low. Now between episodes I grinded a whole bunch of shelters, so I'm going to go over here and sell some of those shelters, sell some old equipment, buy some more revives, some tonics if I need them. I don't think I need any tonics, but we'll see here. Sell some stuff. Tonics are good. Buy some revives though. And then we'll head back to the future. Or I guess you could say the present. To 1000 AD. The enemies have changed here a little bit, but we're just going to avoid them. Another encounter here. We can just run from it, though. We don't have to worry about buying Marle a helmet, because we'll get better helmets later on. And she'll be leaving our party shortly. So by the time we're able to get better helmets, she won't be in any fights until then, so... So Lucca's apparently, all the time we were back here, she studied this gate. She found out it's a time gate, and she created a time key, a gate key, that allows her to open the gates at will. So now we can use these gates whenever we find them. So, interesting thing though is, she says she uses this gate key to open it, but I guess she loans the gate key to us. Because you're going to see that even though she'll leave our party, we can still use this gate to jump back to 600 AD. Although there's no point in coming back here to 600 AD. We'll be coming back here later on, but there's nothing more to do here in 600 AD. To the south, if you did some exploration, to the south of the castle, there's a bridge, but the bridge is knocked out right now. Later on, we're going to come back to 600 AD and the bridge will be built, and that'll allow us to explore more of the area. But for now, nothing to do but do what Lucca says right here, and that is basically to be a gentleman and take Marle home. So yeah, even though Lucca leaves, I guess she left us with the gate key, because like I said, we can use this gate here, but there's no point to it. So if you were playing a New Game Plus, now's the time. You can get a second ending. You can use that teleporter there on the right to go fight the final boss. So I'll show off those endings as they become available in my New Game Plus playthrough. Alrighty, let's take Princess Nadia or Marle back home. Going on here in the Millennial Fair. Head through the forest. You see the chapel's gone over there. Guess they didn't want to be a reminder. Unfortunately, there's no hidden treasure here for us to loot. Just some enemies to avoid. Would go near that boat, it'll summon enemies. Give us some practice of navigating through enemies there. Avoid those mushrooms. And here at the castle. And I remember what we did in the past when we rescued the princess. The Chancellor was like, we need to create a criminal justice system. And unfortunately, we are going to be I guess, a casualty of that criminal justice system that we helped create. Chancellor confuses us as a kidnapper, and we're going to find out that the Chancellor here is not a very good guy. I mean, maybe his heart's in the right place. You know, he wants to protect the queen or the princess, like his ancestor, but he takes it a little too extreme. So now we have the trial section of the game. And this is where your actions at the Millennial Fair will determine how characters vote. Doesn't matter how they vote. You'll get a different. You can get a different gift depending on how they vote. We want to try to get everybody to vote us not guilty. For some reason, though, I don't get not guilty. Though I get not guilty altogether. But one person decides to vote me guilty. I don't know what happened, but anyway, the Chancellor was pretty extreme here. This is the list of penalties, one of which includes execution. Hope that doesn't happen. Alright. So unfortunately, we're told to have to tell the truth. But unfortunately, that means that we're going to have to say that we started this whole problem. And the reason why, you have to say that is because, Marle will not run into you. You have to bump into her to initiate things. But they're going to ask us about motivation. And this is why when we first ran into her, we went and talked with her before we went and grabbed the pendant. Otherwise, it would look that we were trying to, ransom if we just went right to grab the pendant. It's also a reason why we didn't try to convince Melkor to buy the pendant off of her to make money. We want to show that we're a good person. We ain't greedy. And helping that little girl get her cat, that makes us look like a good person. Avoiding stealing that one person's lunch. I said to avoid that pink sack. Otherwise, people are like, oh, look, he's a thief. He stole that guy's lunch. And if we try to, run away when Princess is trying to get the candy, then she mentions, she's like, hold your horses, like you're trying to kidnap me or something. She says that, obviously, that's going to look bad on your character here. So it isn't all that important, like I said, that somebody decided to vote me guilty. I don't know how that happened. But we're going to not get the max amount of ethers from this gift. If everybody votes you not guilty, you can get 6 ethers. I'm only going to get 1, but because I've been doing all that extra farming with the shelters, it's not going to really matter all that much. Eventually, like most Squaresoft games, you'll get to a point where money doesn't matter anymore. It's just really, really important here in the low-level game because, like I said, we're not getting into fights to gain money, so gotta take advantage of little tricks to get money when we can, like that shelter farming. So for some reason, even though we're not guilty, they still throw us in jail for 3 days, but that beats being hung upside down for years or set on fire or guillotined. 3 days is fine. We can hack it. But I mentioned earlier that the Chancellor, he's not a very good guy. And even though we've been found not guilty, well, the Chancellor's going to lie. We'll get our revenge much, much later. Chancellor takes us to jail here. There's 2 things we can do here in jail. I'll kind of point them out, but we want to do the second. This terrorist has tried to overthrow our kingdom. He has been found guilty. What? We're not guilty. The supervisor still thinks we're a monster. And the chancellor's really mean here. He's like, yeah, paperwork's just held up. That's why I didn't hear anything about an execution. Because unfortunately, we are scheduled to be executed. Now, we could, just like I said, if we want during a low-level game, we want to escape, obviously. But in escaping, we gain a lot of experience, so we don't want to do that. So we're actually going to wait to be executed. We can heal ourselves up here for free. Here's that prize that you get from the people. Since somebody voted guilty on us, we only get 1 ether. Now you can keep hitting the bars here, and that ticks the guard off here. And what'll have happen is after 3 times, the guard will come in to teach us a lesson. And when the guard turns his back on us, you can hit the A button and you'll knock him out. And then you come out and you have a forced battle with the other guard out there. And that'll give you experience, and then there'll be a few other forced battles. Like I say, we don't want to do that, so I'm not going to sneak up and hit that guard. I'm just going to let him escape. Now, you don't have to hit the thing 3 times to get him to come in there and hit you. I just kind of wanted to show that off. Instead, what you do is just sit in this cell, and eventually you get a countdown here. Now, before you get pulled out of your cell, you do want to make a save, because there are a few counters. There are a few places where you could get into an encounter if you're not careful, and that actually happened to me. So it's a good thing I make a save here, because I'm able to restart from this point. Like I said, just wait until your execution day. Take your judgment, even if it's false, like a man. Oops, something popped up on my computer there. We're going to take you to a place of execution. So this bypasses all the encounters, the forced encounters. And you're not going to really miss much by doing this. The good treasure that you really want is this sword, and you can get it by just letting the guards take you to the execution. Like I said, the only thing we're really missing out here is on experience, which is detrimental to us here in the low-level game. So we get to march past all these prisoners. Shoink. There's another guy that's set to be executed there. You definitely want to save him. We'll get the option to save him in a little bit, because that'll get us some freebies later on in the game. And free is always good, especially when, like I said, we're deprived of money. So they're going to guillotine us here in the back. Is this France? I don't know, but this is Lucca. She comes here to save us. So she knocks out all the guards. You'll notice that she knocked out a few of the guards on the outside as well. Not all of them. That's why I said it's important to make a save. So if you didn't get the bronze armor back in the past, you get a free one right here. But Crono already has that because like I said, did that shelter farming. And these guards are all passed out. But the other guards that are outside this room that are passed out, you always want to check them because they will have free mid-tonics. You're going to need mid-tonics a little bit later. They're a little overkill right now, but in the future they'll be important later on. So, Now this guy over here, we want to kind of sneak behind him and wait until he's looking away from us. Maybe we can sneak behind him, hit the A button, knock him out. And we want to do that because, hey, like I said, it gets us a free mid-tonic. This guard Lucca knocked out, get a free mid-tonic from him. Head up this way. You don't want to go down to the south any of those directions because those lead to forced encounters. And here's a tricky thing right here. These shield guys, you have to line yourself up right between them. You can sneak between them and not get an encounter. It's kind of tricky though, so that's why I have to made that little safety save earlier. Yeah, if you mess up, you know, lose about 5 minutes, but better than losing the low-level game. I'm gonna try to position myself perfectly, just walk slowly. I look pretty good there. Sneak through. It's really important that we go to the left. To the right takes us out to the boss. But like I said, the main important treasure we want to get is that new sword for Crono. And to get that, we're going to have to sneak over this way. Out this hole in the wall. Sneak between the little crack there and the ledge. I'm going to kind of climb down this hole by the toilet. And that will take us to the cell that's next to Crono's cell that he started in. You can tell because there's a save point over to the right, we'll see. And we have 2 really good treasure chests here. 1,500 gold and the load sword, which is going to increase our attack by 3. That'll help us out because we got like I said, we got that boss coming up. You saw a little preview of that boss in the intro scene that I showed off in the first episode. Kind of an interesting boss. The game really thought ahead when they made this boss because if you play like a new game plus, you'll have like all your techniques and stuff. And Lucca's fire, Crono is lightning. And they have really strong magical techniques at end game. So they made this boss invincible to fire and lightning. You can't use your overpowered techniques on it. Check this guard. We want to check him twice because he has 5 mid-tonics. And this gives you a little clue about the boss. The head repairs the damage, so that's going to be our first target when we fight this boss. And we will fight that boss in the next episode. So take care, have a good one. I'll see you then. Bye.